I was, as many of all of us were aware of the events of the week. We're on the news, the shootings, and the shootings in Dallas. And I noticed, was aware of Facebook posts, social media posts, lots of things happening around protests and people speaking out and in their anger, in their frustration, their pain, really in just total dismay and heartbreak in many ways. What do we do? What do we do? How do we change things? How do we shift? And what I'm very aware of is that what's our human nature is wanting to make it about someone else. And if they would only do certain things, if they would only change, if they would only. And so, what I believe is that the change begins here, with me. And the change begins with me knowing my truth, knowing my divinity, knowing the God within me, knowing the Christ within me. That is the evolution of consciousness that is called for. And only in doing that, only when I'm willing to claim my truth, that I am the Christ, I am the divine, I am that in manifested form as you are, will I be able to see that in you and in all creation, all people. But it begins with my willingness to claim it for myself. And to stop identifying myself in ways that limit me. Stop living an idea of myself that is not my truth. I don't care. God doesn't care. The I am within us doesn't care what color your skin is, what your sexual orientation is, what your religion is, what your nationality is. The God within us doesn't care about any of that, nor should we. Nor should we. And until we're willing to claim it, to own it, and question everything that we believe about ourselves, are we ever going to have this evolution, this revolution, this new way of being in the world? This new way of calling forth the highest and best within each other. And I'm not saying we don't take action. What I'm saying is that we take action from a place of knowing our truth. My truth and your truth. That I see it for me. I claim it for me. And in that, I claim it for you. And in that, I know that you are as I am. And so what I want is just encourage us to claim it. Claim it for yourself and question everything that you believe about yourself or about another person that is not in alignment with the truth. The God self, the I am. When I know it for me, and I mean know it, I mean embody it, I mean claim it. Without any doubt, without any reservation. Because only then are we going to experience the world that we all want to create. Only then. Not before. So we all feel the pain, the fear, the anger, the sadness, the mourning. When we witness what goes on in the world and we want to own that, claim that, feel that. Acknowledge our humanity. But claim our divinity and live our divinity to the greatest possibility and greatest ability we can in the moment. That is the answer. We must engage in a revolution that is inspired by our own evolution of consciousness. All right, I'm taking a breath now. So let's take a breath together, if you would. And really, in the quiet, the silence of your own mind and heart, I invite us all to claim the truth. I am the Christ. I am an expression of the divine right here and right now. I claim it. I know it. I own it. I embody it. That is my only truth. That is my only identity. And I allow everything else to fall away. All the ways I have known myself, have identified myself, and identified others, I invite to fall away. In the light of my truth, in the light of my knowing, I claim it, I know it, I embrace it. And I see myself through the eyes of the Christ. And I see each and every person through the eyes of the Christ. I change my own consciousness. And I see clearly the God in all, as all. I see myself in and through all. And in that knowing, love is all I can be. Love is all I can know. Love is all I can give. And in that awareness, I'm grateful. Feel it. Ground it. Breathe into it. Know it is your truth. Know it is your truth. And we are grateful, 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 grateful for the knowing. And so it is. Amen. All right, so I've got that out now, and I feel like Jesus turning over the tables, you know, that kind of energy. But you know, sometimes it does seem like a cruel joke, doesn't it? Cruel cosmic joke that we know that we are divine beings. We are made in the image, likeness of God. We are the I am, the Christ. That is our true nature, created in divine love. And then we're plopped down here. Plopped down here in this consciousness. Human consciousness, collective unconsciousness, really. So we're divine beings, this divine life that just comes into the world, right? And so we're just kind of washed over with this consciousness, this belief, these ideas, these misbeliefs, really these myths. I don't even know where they came from. Where did they originate, Who started all these lies? I don't know. It does seem like a cruel joke sometimes that we know who we are, and yet we're living in this alien world where we're trying to navigate all of that stuff. And so then we take it on, and we take on the beliefs of the world and our parents and our churches and our society, and so that becomes our identity in a way. And we begin to operate from that identity. We begin to live out who we believe we are. And because I believe who I am is who I am, and who you are is who you are, and I see that you're different. You believe differently. You have a different religion. You have a different nationality. You have a different skin color. You have different sexual orientation. You have different things, and we're separate, right? That's how we interact with each other. Sometimes it's that way we operate. It's just the way we tend to operate in our humanity. And as I'm talking about the 12 steps, again, I'm going back to the 12 steps, and step 6 and 7, we're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character that we made a list of earlier. And then step 7 is that we humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. And the way I like to think about these defects of character is not that they are something that we chose, or that they're not innate. It's not a part of our nature, right? I mean, we're created as the image, likeness, the I am, the Christ of God. And so we don't have any defects of character, any defects of our real innate self. But when we come plopped into this world, we take those on. And I wrote about that this week, and I talked about them being like this. Our initial operating system is light and Christ and good and truth and all of that, and then we're plopped into this, and it's like a computer that takes on malicious software. It's like viruses and worms and all that stuff that mucks up the system. And we start operating from this corrupted system. Not our fault. We're not to blame. But it's something to be aware of. Because that stuff, just like the malicious software in your computer, it runs behind the scenes and it confuses everything, right? It messes stuff up. You go to do something that you normally would do and it doesn't work. And I think that's the same thing that happens for us. We take on this energy of these things that are not us, or not part of our original operating system, these viruses. And we don't know they're running. We're not conscious of their running. They're sort of in that place of the subconscious mind. That energy field that we call the subconscious mind that takes on all that stuff. And that subconscious mind just continues to feed the conscious mind. And we operate from that place. And so it's important for us to be aware that that's going on and to do something about that. As the 6th step talks about, we're entirely ready to have God remove all this stuff. I don't want to be operating with this stuff because it causes me to do things that from my divine self I would never do. That creates tension and fear and disruption. And so, again, it kind of goes back to the 3rd step was we asked God to restore us to sanity, that we knew that there was something that could restore us to sanity. Because when we're operating from that system, we're not operating from clarity. We really are insane in a way, right? We're not thinking clearly. Our operating system is confused. And so when we recognize that and we're ready to let go of it, we can't do it. Because we're so entrenched in this way of being, this self. We're so entrenched in that we can't do it. We can't change it. As Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created it, with the same consciousness that created it. You can't. There's no way. And so we have to be willing to admit that, to humble ourselves, to be open and receptive, to allowing something to do it for us. That higher self, God, Spirit, life itself. And not only that, but we have to be willing to ask. Because asking opens us up. When I'm willing to say, if I could do it by myself, I would, but I can't. I don't know how. Help me. The same thing in our human life. We don't get help unless we ask, right? We have to ask. It opens us up to the possibility that it can happen. Even though we may not know how it's going to happen. And we really don't, because we don't need to know how. We just need to be willing to ask and to receive and to open. So there's a slide with a prayer that I like for us to say together, if you're willing. This is a prayer called the Grace Prayer that my friend and Unity minister, she used to be Debbie Tyson when she taught at Unity Village. Now she's Deidre Price. But this is a prayer that she wrote that she called the Grace Prayer. And if it doesn't resonate with you as you read it, I'm inviting us to be in that place of recognizing, as I said earlier, that we all have these things that are operating in our consciousness that we're not really aware of. We have beliefs. We hold beliefs that we may not really be aware of. I know I do. I look at what's going on in the world, and I get to look at my stuff, my own beliefs. And am I really willing to know myself as God knows me, to know myself as I have created? Am I willing to let all of that go and to really claim my knowing? And so if you're willing, I just invite you to say this prayer with me. We'll do it slowly. For thee I thirst. Into thy hands I commit my spirit, my soul, my body, my life, my all. Thy will is my will. Thy will be done through me now. Heal me at depth. Reveal that which needs to be revealed. Heal that which needs to be healed, that I may glorify and live in the consciousness of grace. It is finished. Live in the consciousness of grace. I open myself up. I open myself up. Reveal what needs to be revealed. Heal what needs to be healed, so that I may live in the consciousness of grace. Grace for myself and grace for all humanity. It is finished. Charles Fillmore talked about how that subconscious mind feeds the conscious mind, as I was talking about earlier. And he said that really the true purpose of the conscious mind is to look to the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind being the mind of God, the one mind. And to open up to the impression of the superconscious mind, God mind. That is the true function of the conscious mind. Not to stop looking, stop focusing in the subconscious where all of that stuff is going on, all of those lies, misbeliefs are being held and fed into the conscious mind, but to invite the superconscious mind. How do we do that? Sounds very simple and easy. How do we even know that it's happening? How can we trust that it's happening? I think it requires us to really engage our powers of will, which is our power to focus, our power of faith to see beyond what we can see with the physical eyes, and our power of imagination to just imagine that it's happening as you declare it so. It says in the scripture, you shall declare a thing and it shall be done. And so it's the humble willingness to say, your will is my will. Cleanse me at depth. So I invite us just to take a moment and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, once again, affirm for yourself, I am the divine presence. I am the Christ. I am the Christ of God. I am whatever really what works for you. I am the light of the world. There's a term, there's a concept that resonates with your consciousness. As you open to receive that, to know that, feel that truth. And I invite you to just invite some awareness of the other stuff that's just there. In the subconscious, is there a belief or beliefs about yourself, or about other people, about God, about the world? Do your own little virus scan right now as you just notice, not without judgment or shame or blame, just awareness. Do I hold a thought about people? Do I hold a thought about African Americans? About the police? About Jews? About Muslims? About Christians? About homosexuals? Heterosexuals? What belief, what thought might be running in the background? Again, just curiosity. And then if you're willing, just invite the mind of God. See it, if you would, as light, as a beam of light. And invite that beam of light into your mind. See it just flooding your mind right now, knowing that the mind is a field of energy. Just see that light flooding into your mind and illuminating all that is unlike the truth. All that is the delusion of who you think you are, who you think others are, who you think God is, who you think you should be, any of those ideas. And just see the light washing them clean, releasing them into the void, if you will. That the darkness cannot abide in the light. The truth, illusion, the shadows of illusion cannot abide in that purity of light. And so using your power of imagination, again, just see your mind filled with light. See your subconscious mind just filled with the light of truth your conscious mind filled with the light of truth. Letting go, releasing the past, the history, who you have thought yourself to be, who society has told you you are or should be. Claiming your true identity. Reveal what needs to be revealed in the light. Cleanse what needs to be cleansed. Heal what needs to be healed. And just know it is done. Again, claim it. Know it is done now. And breathe that light now down into your heart. Feel that light radiating from your heart and out into your emotional body, revealing the pain and the fear. Again, without judgment, without attachment, just allow the light to reveal it and let it go. Heal it at depth. Heal me at depth. And as you claim it, know that it is done. It is complete. It is finished. It is finished in this moment. And you are remembered in your divinity, in your heart and in your mind. And open your inner eyes, your spiritual eyes, to see yourself in that light. To see yourself through the eyes of God. And as you claim it, as you see it, as you allow it, open your inner eyes again. Using your imagination, draw into your mind anyone, anything, any situation that you may be holding judgment about, fear about, and claim the truth for that one or that situation as well. Use your own power, your own consciousness to raise, to lift up any person or situation that you may have fear about, or judgment, or anger. As you raise yourself, you raise another. As you raise another, you raise yourself. We are one. We are one in the light of God. We are one as the light of God. What I do for myself, I do for another. What I do for another, I do for myself in consciousness. And just breathe that awareness. Living in the consciousness of grace. I am. I am made whole. I am remembered. Through the power of grace and love. I am. It is finished. And so it is. Take a deep breath. Breathing that awareness back into your heart. All of it, right here, right now. Feel it in your body. Ground it through the bottom of your feet. And just feel that energy moving through your hands, through your head. You are a radiant being of light and love. That is your truth. And that is the truth for all creation, all humanity. We are one. We are one. We are one.